I know things you never see. You never see someone taking a shit while running at full speed.
Come on, kid, get rid of some of them turds in the shit box.
Welcome to the Bathroom Break Podcast with me, Rab himself. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rab from the Bathroom Break Podcast. Just wanted to take a minute to thank you all for listening to the podcast. It's been a lot of fun to sit down with some really interesting people and shoot the shit, you know, talk all that poop and stuff. But, yeah, we want to try and make this thing better for you, so we're going to need to raise some funds. If you head over to greengate.bigcartel.com, there's a donation link there. If you feel so inclined to donate to the Bathroom Break Podcast, awesome. If not, sit back and listen. We're going to talk some crap.
Wet the whistle, Chris.
Just wet it up.
I just keep thinking about the thing we shot today.
Yeah.
Poor daddy, though.
Oh, poor daddy. Welcome to the Bathroom Break Podcast. I'm your host, Rab himself, and my guest today is the incredible photographer, Zach Storer. Zach let me take a bathroom break in his house right before we started here. I just took a dump, and his wife had to fix her hair in the bathroom, and unfortunately, there might have been some smell, residuals left over.
That's not abnormal for a visit to my house from you, though.
Yes.
We're all kind of.
I got to mark my territory.
We've all been accustomed to it.
So you said you were thinking about this morning. And this morning, I'm looking at the water now, and I was covered in water and all types of sexual energy as we were filming that workout video.
The exercise ball put it over. That was my favorite part.
So we had this workout video that we were working on this morning, and we had to get into a leotard and get a little homoerotic with it.
And we snuck into a yoga studio, unbeknownst to the owner.
Who showed up halfway through filming it, which, all right.
Hey.
So anyway, dude, I wanted to welcome you on the podcast because I just I'm a big fan of your photography.
Thank you.
And all of the work that you do. I work with you as a camera guy in the business and doing scripted stuff. But we first started in the lovely world of reality TV, and I met you on that incredible award-winning show, the Bad Girl Club All-Stars or whatever.
It was the Bad Girls All-Star Challenge.
Yeah.
And this was no normal Bad Girls Club.
Yeah, the worst of the worst.
They took all the craziest ones and made them compete for $100,000, which is a lot of money to a bad girl.
Oh, she would do some bad things with
They
all
did
that
do
money.
bad things for that money, and you saw.
Oh, man, I remember one time I was looking at it, and I'm like, wait, what? So they were fist fighting, drunk, ripping each other's hair out, wrestling to the ground, and then at the end of it, they started making out.
Oh yeah, right.
And it was like, wait, what? Just
were you there when
happened?
I got the beer to the? You were there the day I got the beer to the head, the beer can to the head.
Oh wait, yeah.
There was beer running down my face, so which was nice.
Which I enjoyed the flavor.
Yeah, that show was.
Man, I feel like there was just herpes.
The problem with that show is those girls aren't shy to begin with, and then they get used to seeing the same camera people for 6 weeks at a time, 12 hours a day. So they'll just walk around the house butt naked and not in a good way.
Yeah, their sick buttholes hanging out.
Not in a good way.
Yeah. God, dude. I mean, I just imagine the collective STDs in that world. We all felt like we wanted to take Valtrex.
I think they were. I think they make all the cast members take it so that there's no sort of.
There's no outbreaks.
There's no outbreaks while they're there just to protect the people. And I think they make them all take it, whether they have any sort of thing or not, just in case, just for precaution.
Any luggage
you can do the show, but you have to take pills.
yeah.
Which,
dude,
I think most of them need to take more than Valtrex as far as pills go.
God, yeah, just even some stuff for their psychological issues, God damn. So we've worked on some fun shows like that, and you always have just a wonderful crew of maniacs on those kind of shows. I feel like the crew might not have been any better than the cast on that one, because the director guy was just losing his marbles, screaming and hollering at everybody, and you're like, who the fuck's he even talking to? And then there's the girls yelling at each other, ripping each other's hairs out, and then eating each other's vaginas out while they're it's like, what the fuck is going on? So that is the lovely world of reality and the amazing content that we're putting out for people to ingest.
The weirdest thing is, I mean, it's not weird or surprising, but a lot of reality crew are like as wild. Like they're just, it's wild.
Yeah, I know, and it is, and I feel like you have to be a little bit sick to work on reality TV. Yeah. Like, and it's funny because I'll say, oh, this crappy content from this show, and people be, Rab, you did Jackass stuff, and that stuff is ridiculous, and you're right, it is, but for some reason, I felt like at least maybe there was a slight tinge of creativity to that.
It was a cultural revolution, in my opinion. It was just like, there was nothing like that really out, and then that came out, and it just changed, like, teenage boys' lives forever in a weird way. Like, you transformed an entire generation of, like, teenage kids, pretty much, because it was just like...
Yeah, and I mean, and it was fun for that, but I also would just like to think that it's not as it was idiotic stuff, but there was some creativity to it, whereas like a Bad Girls Club show, it's just idiotic and there's nothing creative, and it's just like, ugh, this is like showing the worst of the worst.
And they always just show all, like, you know, all the you know, crazy stuff on TV. You don't see, like, you're with them 12 hours a day, just shooting them, waiting for something to happen. So it's just like you are filming them 90% of the time, sitting in the kitchen, eating and talking shit.
Yeah.
And that's all they do all day. And then you wait till nighttime until it's time for them to go to the nightclub or whatever. And then they get wasted, and that's, you know, they fist fight or whatever. But like 90% of a show like that is just filming them doing their fucking makeup. All day, or just filming them eating all day.
And it's like you got to get enough liquor in them to get the nonsense that you're looking for. And
you got to like slowly prime them up, and they're drinking all day. Like they're all pouring, like, you know, drinks into plastic cups all day long.
Yeah, I know, it's so awful. But then we went and we've done a bunch of other shows. We did this show about virgins. Where they were trying to get people to get laid. Yeah. I was a butt virgin until I met Zach. But dude, that show was ridiculous. Like, they're trying to get virgins to get laid the first time. That was weird. And
it was like college-age kids that were still virgins for whatever reason. It'd be religious or medical or... oh man,
religious or medical.
Those would be the only reasons you'd be a virgin at that age. Really. I can't think of any other reason. Or maybe somebody was like had like a hard like was abused or something as a child, which is horrible, obviously. But
let's expose it for a TV show.
Well, let's just bring everybody's. I mean, there was one kid that came out as gay to his family on this show, and it's just like, no, don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't cheapen it. Don't cheapen it. This is a big moment for you.
Yeah, this is like a real thing in life.
This is your real life.
Don't
cheat this. Don't do it.
Dude, so many of those just incredible reality shows, but my favorite one by far is the one where we were like searching for Sasquatch or whatever it was. And oh my Lord.
It was just one of those many like Bigfoot hunting shows basically, and we were in the middle of nowhere.
So I get the call from Zach, and he's like, hey, Rab, all right, there's this job for you to come, like, shoot on this show, and, like, don't judge me, but it's this.
Deep in the woods.
And I'm like, okay, where is it? West Virginia. I'm like, oh, okay. The only thing I know about West Virginia is, like, a bunch of toothless hillbillies, and I'm thinking, you know, like.
But they're nice.
Yeah, but like, that's all I knew about West Virginia. I grew up in Pennsylvania, not too far from West Virginia, but I had never really known it. You just hear all like the stereotypes and this and that.
Yeah.
So I get the call, I get the flight, I fly into West Virginia, I get off the plane,
pouring rain.
Yeah, it's so pouring rain. You get back from set, you're all muddy.
I was covered in mud.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, it's gonna be a little wild. So I get there to set, and I look at the first guy, he's missing the majority of his teeth. I look at the second guy like, all of his teeth. I look at the next guy, like one tooth in the middle, and then
Trapper had dentures.
And then I see the one guy has a full set of teeth. I was like, oh, there's one with a full set of teeth, and then he goes and pulls the whole
He chewed
tooth.
on it like a cow.
Yeah, like he yanked them out, and you could see him drop down, and then there was no teeth, so he had zero.
Like a cow eating long hay.
Yeah. He's just like, and he's chewing on his teeth, and I'm like, oh my God, it's true. Everybody in West Virginia has no freaking teeth.
Which isn't true. Like, they took the most exaggerated versions of
Right.
people in West Virginia, because where we were, everybody was so nice. And
it is. But I'm saying for me, my mindset was this is what these people are, and then I see it, and I was like, oh, it really is like this.
That's what we were filming.
You know,
we were just out in the woods with
it was
crazy
so
people.
good though. The one dude was my favorite guy ever, Wild Bill. And he is the funniest fucking dude. Like, I literally love that guy.
He's so nice.
He calls me up on New Year's and he's like, "Hey, Christopher, it's Wild Bill." He's like, "What y'all doing? Y'all drinking hurricanes and washing some pills down?" And I'm like, what the hell? He's like, "Damn, I know you. You're probably out tonight getting some chicken breast pussy." And I'm like, what the fuck is chicken breast pussy? What is chicken breast pussy?
I don't know.
But he has a thing for it where he's like, yeah, getting some of that good chicken breast pussy. I'm like, what the fuck
I have no idea
is
what that means.
chicken breast pussy?
I don't.
Well, Wild Bill
Does he
knows
fuck
what it means.
chicken breast?
Yeah.
I think that's what that means.
Yeah, I guess.
He must.
It's like a raw chicken breast.
This guy is like a really crazy character on the show, but his real life version is crazier than his version on the show. They tame him down on the show, which is unbelievable to me, because his character on the show is just
I know.
a literal wild person. And
he's this maniac jumping in and out of trees like, "Rawr, let's build a Sasquatch hut."
He'll do anything, anytime.
Yeah.
There's nothing you couldn't tell him to do, and he would just do it full force.
Yeah. And you remember, remember when we went to the gas station, we were driving to set.
Yeah.
We walk into this gas station, and he's in there.
He's got the whole gas station laughing.
Yeah, and he's in there, didn't know any of us were around. He's like, "Hey, where are your hurricanes at?" Because he loves those hurricane,
Well, he doesn't drink or do drugs.
But he
just
loves to
always
talk
talks
about it.
About drinking and doing drugs.
The frozen hurricane drink or whatever that they have in New Orleans, he's always talking about "I'll bet you want a nice hurricane."
That's all he talks about. He's weird. It's so funny.
So he's in there talking
nice.
about washing pills down with a hurricane in some random store that we walked into. Didn't even know, and he's there, and it's just dude, I mean, that's the kind of guy he was. It's just everywhere you see him, he's just
everybody's laughing,
stirring some shit up.
I like that he says everybody's name to completion.
Yeah,
it's not Zach, it's Zachary, and he yells it every time, or Chris, even though he said yours wrong.
He goes, "Hey, Christopher," and my name's Christian, but I just loved it. I was like, all right, yeah, just call me Christopher.
He never doesn't yell your name, or when he slaps you on the back.
Yeah.
How you doing? You're just I was good.
Yeah, it's 7 in the morning, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's hilarious, man. Those guys. That was a funny show, and it was fun to be around them. And I genuinely really liked Bill, and was at the end of it, for real, he's he'll call me, leave me messages. I was like, dude, I fucking love this guy.
Dude, Blake, my 3-year-old, he was about 1 at the time. Bill loved him and I swear to God, would bring him to our hotel room gifts, toys. He brought outfits, Mickey Mouse outfits that he loved. I think he bought everything Mickey Mouse in the Walmart down the street.
Yeah.
And just brought it to Blake
Dude,
every day. He loved it.
That's awesome.
He's such a nice dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That show was wild, and we were talking about Bad Girls Club and Virgin shows and this other garbage television, but theirs was it was fun, and it was creative because they were setting up traps to find Sasquatch and doing things. And I had a good time on that show. I mean, it was a kind of an ass kicker because it was cold and we were out in the
shooting
woods
overnight every night, and it was 12 hours overnight outside.
Yeah, so it would get tough like that, but
there were no creative restrictions. You could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah, and the guys were fun. So at the end of it all is you might bash on reality TV, but sometimes there are some really cool people that you meet. Yeah.
Especially if you're out like me and you, just saying, We just entertain each other.
Yeah, and that's always what's fun is being on a show with you because we'll just make up voices and I think at one point it was like this gay hillbilly.
I think we had a gay hillbilly voice going like, and it was like around the clock for like 4 weeks or something like that, to where just nobody wanted to be around either of us because we just couldn't stop. Like in public, we would talk to people that lived there and they knew we were.
Hey y'all.
Yeah. Oh hey, what's up?
I love you. Like I love Jesus Christ and stuff, y'all.
Oh, I can be gay and Christian. No, you can't.
And I love down in that area because it's like the guy's guy and in the Bible Belt stuff. And you're like, hey, excuse me, what's up? What's happening?
They didn't know what to make of us. Like, what's up,
dude? It's so good. So. Talking a little bit more about like, so you kind of you'll do those shows from time to time, but largely you're involved with scripted stuff.
Yeah,
and you've done some really cool shows like that. We were just over at Wonk Incorporated the other night, which is Kyle Newacek from Workaholics. It's his production company. And we were filming a live ping pong tournament between Kyle and TK. And TK is one of the guys that's in some of those funny movies that they've done. What is it, Mega Summer Hit?
Yeah, and he was in Workaholics a little bit here and there.
And
he kind of works alongside them. He's wild.
Yeah, and I love those guys, man. It's such a positive vibe over there. Like right when you get there, you're already ready to laugh, and you're already like laughing as you're going.
They just
walking
involve
in the
you
door.
immediately, really.
Yeah,
and it's just like
you're cracking up, and you're having a good time, and that ping pong match got pretty serious the other night.
Well, they're doing like a celebrity ping pong, but it's like kind of like not obscure, but like bizarre celebrities. Like I think they're trying to get that like like not bizarre, but like they want to get Steve-O in, or they want to get Blake Anderson from Workaholics.
Yeah,
and I think you should challenge Kyle. But all you have to do is formally challenge him on Instagram. Like, like a trash talking video. Like yo.
Oh, dude, we should shoot that. That'll be good.
We should shoot you trash talking Kyle.
It should be
you got to send a formal challenge his way.
Yeah,
is the thing. That's I mean. TK and Kyle were going at it on Instagram for a good week, and then. And then they live stream it, so it's like...
Dude, I could come in as Fitness Phil from the video earlier this morning.
You just have to formally challenge Kyle.
Talk to him through my butthole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kyle might like that.
Yeah, But no, those guys are awesome, and you do a lot of stuff with them. You shot that show, Studio City Kings.
Yeah. It was a weird, small web show, but it was like I guess it's a bunch of dudes that do comedy that just decided, like, let's write something serious and...
Yeah. But I get that, man. That's rad because I just did another little short film.
Yeah.
I shot it a while back, but I just finally edited it, and it's called Farewell, and it's kind of like about the day that I found out when Ryan died.
Okay.
So it's pretty heavy as far as that, but I just put it on YouTube. I haven't put it up on Rab himself
Did you
videos
act in it?
yet. No,
okay.
I just wrote it and directed it and shot it.
Did you shoot it here in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And it, but it was a serious kind of short film, and it was kind of just therapeutic in a way to get some of those feelings out about what it was like to go through that with Ryan. And you still go through it when you lose somebody that you're that close to. It's forever, but it was kind of just an opportunity to do that. And for me, being the guy who shits on things or does this or whatever, and obviously that was years ago, and I'm still that guy, but I have a lot of other outlets and a lot of other things I'm working on, and I write more serious stuff. And
I'm sensitive, but I still shit on stuff.
Yeah. I just want to let you know I'm sensitive.
Yeah, I'm complex, but I also shit on things.
Yeah. And that's it, because you kind of get limited to like this image of, Rab is this way, and then it's like, all right, but I also like to do more serious stuff, so it makes sense that they would want to go out on a limb and do.
And it's not even necessarily like you're shooting it with the intention of like, oh, let's sell this. It's just more so like, I have this thing I wrote and I really want to shoot it, and I think shooting those kinds of things with no expectations is like important, because I know so many people that'll shoot something where it's like, we're gonna try to get it in this and that, and then I feel like that like shapes the way they shoot it, because they're trying to get it in like a certain festival or something. And whereas like if you just shoot what you want and
Right. Like that's the best thing. I think when you have like when you have expectations for something, you always fall short of that. But when you go in with no expectations and you just kind of
do your best,
whatever's happening, I feel like great stuff happens with that. Like, you know, Jackass. Okay, we did CKY videos. We did all that. Those CKY videos took off and people started knowing them, but not because we were like, oh, we're gonna make these videos that people are all gonna know. It was just you do those videos and
you were doing what a lot of people were doing and just filming themselves doing stupid shit because it's just like, you know, every kid in America, one of their parents had like a crappy old camcorder, and then you would just.
Yeah, and then it took off naturally rather than like trying to force it to be something, and that's a great way to work, you know. And just today, like we shot that little skit, and it was like, what are we gonna do? And we have no idea. I was like, I'll show up, I'll go to Goodwill, I'll buy an outfit, and then
we just came up with like 1,000 funny things. And so homoerotic and tasteful.
It always kind of takes that turn.
We always go to dicks.
Yeah.
All the time.
I don't know what that says, but
it's all dicks. Like every joke is about dicks.
Yeah, dicks and farts and
That's
farts
it.
and dicks. Yes. But so those guys, they have that production company and they kind of shoot a lot of, you know, smaller projects, but really fun projects. What was the one that they did with like TK is like the
Rage and Beauty.
Rage and Beauty?
Yes.
Dude, I love that
Oh my
one.
God. Yeah. Go to the Wonk Inc. website, Wonk Incorporated, and find Rage and Beauty with Thomas Keller. It is a work of art.
Yeah. Dude.
They tried to sell it, and I don't know a couple companies or a couple networks passed on it, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh, it is good.
And there's so many good
and
cameos.
It's dark
in it.
and weird, and and there is good cameos.
It's like Jaleel White, what's her name, Flo from the Progressive commercials is in it.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many bizarre cameos, and it's a masterpiece.
Rage and Beauty. You gotta check that out.
Yes.
That's funny.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's cool to kind of like, it's small world sort of stuff because Kyle's buds with Steve-O and Pontius, and then I met him through you.
I feel like everybody just knows everybody in a weird way.
Yeah, and then you do that, and it was funny. We went over that one day, and the kid had on that Borrowed Happiness shirt.
Yes, Noah.
He was like editing.
He was an intern at Wonk, and he.
And he's sitting there wearing this Borrowed Happiness shirt, which was this small little short film thing.
He didn't know you were coming in that day.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? You have that? I'm like, you have one of the 6 shirts that we sold, you know? And it was like hilarious to see that. And he's like, oh, I liked it. I was like, damn, okay. And
nobody knew you were coming in until like an hour before. And it's not like he planned on like wearing that to work. Like he just wore it to work.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like, because that's the vibe over there, and I was gonna say the vibe is that they just like encourage everybody to try what they want to try.
Yeah.
And that's a rad thing because, of course, there's going to be a lot of people out there. Like if you try and step out of your comfort zone, you try something else a little different. It's like, get back to doing what you do, and you're like, nah, dude, I want to try this. And
nobody makes fun of you for it. Cause
it's
just like
and over there,
trying new stuff.
Yeah, they're psyched over there, and that's like, I don't know, that's inspiring, man, to be around people that are just encouraging. You know what, it might not work, but who cares? Try it.
Absolutely.
And that's like the best way to kind of. That's where you stumble upon the funniest stuff. That's where you stumble upon the best stuff, and it's cool, man.
That's how we make funny stuff.
Yeah. So
those guys are cool.
Yeah. So you got involved with those guys and did that, and then you're moving around and doing a bunch of bigger like cinematography projects.
Yeah, like various TV shows and movies and stuff like that.
And that's rad. And then on top of that, like you love cameras so much that you also do like film photography.
Yeah.
And you just put out your second book.
I did. And it's a landscape book.
Cityscape. And what was it called? The title?
The Land and City.
Yeah, The Land and City. And where can you get that?
I have an Etsy store.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you just go to my Instagram. Syndrome. UPS_syndrome.
Yeah, so the opposite of Down syndrome.
Opposite of Down syndrome.
You have UPS syndrome, UPS_syndrome. If you go on your Instagram there, it can show some of your photography, and then you have photography books.
Well, I'm a huge nerd about it. I've always done it.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I wanted to get into, because I think what's really inspiring about it too is that obviously your day job is you're a cinematographer, but then when you're done with your day job, your hobby is still photography. And so, I mean, you love a camera in every aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And it's always fun to watch because, I mean, you have such a cool history of like doing photos for Modest Mouse, doing photos for CKY. And that's actually, I didn't know you in that time, but you took a bunch of photos for CKY.
Yeah.
You did photos for Modest Mouse, which is like one of my favorite bands. And like, then all these years later, I met you, and you're like, "Oh, cool! I was a huge fan of the band," and then I did some photos, and they love what I was doing, so I would do more photos, and then now and then I shoot some video stuff for them and do this, and like, you just kind of, made your way in with bands, because I think just because you do incredible work,
cool. That's the way into everything cool. I feel like it's just like
wandering in,
just wiggle your way in. Like, and cool bands. Like I just worked with the Growlers, which is like.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool because I think it's just like, I mean, your work speaks for itself. So then you like, you see that and it's like, oh, we need this dude around, and then.
Well, it's good to make yourself valuable or at least enjoyable to your friends, especially when your friends do cool stuff and then you get to do cool stuff with them.
Yeah. And it's rad. So, You've always been a big fan of music, and is that kind of what? So like, cause you did some some rock photography, but then you kind of shifted into like landscape and these other. And does it kind of just?
I mean, as far as like my photography, my photography stuff, it's just like I always kind of shot landscapes. I would shoot like. Man, I remember shooting photos on a camera my grandma had that took floppy disks. Floppy disks, yeah.
Damn.
A digital camera that took floppy disks.
That's crazy.
Unreal. It shot video.
Wow. And then so she just had that in her house when you were young?
Well, we had video cameras and like old film, like, disposable cameras and stuff like that. And I just always had my hands on that stuff.
Yeah. So I mean that's really cool. So you kind of came up with that, and then that's what it's like, because we're at your house now, and that's what it's like up in your office. Is just like a billion different types of cameras, all over the place, different films. You have like specific films that are your favorite at the moment, and then they change, and
I develop everything. Like I'm just like, it's fun.
Yeah, and I've done some with you.
Oh yeah.
And you showed me through the process. It's funny because
easy, right?
I did, and I did photography back in high school.
Yeah.
And but it's been 20 years since I was like developing film.
Yeah.
And then we come over and have film night here and develop stuff, and it's super fun to do, and it's kind of gets you more involved with the creative process.
Well, the thing for me, other than film, I like the way film looks is like. If I shoot digital photography, I can just rapid fire or take a bunch of photos, and it's I don't want to say it's easy for me, but it's a lot easier just to like shoot a bunch of photos, because if you're good, then you know it's going to be in there. Whereas like with film, it's like I pay a ton of money for film, so if I see something I like, I'm going to shoot like 2 photos tops of it.
Yeah.
And the cameras, they're not complex, but you kind of have to know what shutter speed means, what aperture means, and kind of the basics that a lot of people don't know to make your camera function properly, and how film reacts to it. And
I feel like, I mean, and that's such a good point, is like that each shot means more, and it's like more coveted because you have to like.
It just challenges me more, which I don't know. I just get bored. I mean, I like film. I like digital photography too. It has its uses. Like, when you're doing jobs you're getting paid a lot of money for, and you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. And we even I've talked about it a little bit with you and with others, of like, in this day and age with digital, it's just like, keep it rolling, and you're like, and it just kind of loses the feel. Like back in the day when you're shooting on film, like everything had to count. Like we shot on the Super 16 Bolex for a lot of the CKY and those things back in the day, and I was talking with Joe Franz about it, and it's just like that. Like that feeling was, make this count, do a great job.
It's crazy you guys shot that stuff on film. Yeah.
It's
just like, all right, go.
Yeah.
All right, stop.
Yeah.
Every second you're spending like $8 or something like that. Per second.
Exactly. And then now in this day and age, it's just some card that you can erase and redo and whatever.
Over and over.
Yeah, and so some of it gets lost in that. I think some of the
for me, it's just harder, and it just makes. I like to do stuff that keeps my brain working a little bit, and that kind of, I'm especially developing. It's kind of like I do color developing, so it's like,
yeah,
you just have to nail temperatures and timing and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about how we went out the one night, and you also really love to shoot neon signs.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
And there's those photos look so cool with the neon signs, and we're out in Hollywood, kind of trying to shoot a couple of those, but on top of that, we went and did this other thing.
Right. With a company.
Yeah, are we allowed to say their company or no? Let's not say the company, but it was...
Because it was illegal what we were doing.
Yeah, we ended up in a situation with dominatrix, and they were whipping dudes and peeing on things and whatever.
Not in a private setting, on Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood and Highland.
Yes.
Which is, if you know anything about LA, that is like Times Square.
Yeah. We were right in the thick of things.
Like that's right where the Egyptian Theater is, right where El Capitan Theater is.
And dude, I remember so we leave and we leave like this whole family setting with our wives, your kid.
Yeah.
And we go drive into Hollywood and get in, and all of a sudden we go in and there's these old French prostitutes that are like that have no teeth. And then they're like whipping some old man.
Oh my God, that was crazy, dude. I forgot about that old guy. What was his name?
It was just
Jeeves.
Sub or whatever. Oh yeah, Jeeves. Yeah.
I think that was his fake name.
Yeah, he was the Sub.
I refuse to believe his name is Jeeves.
And
he was like 80 years old.
It was like
he was like fulfilling. I think he was fulfilling like a bucket list thing. Yeah. He was like 80, and this old dominatrix was just like
ass.
Oh my God! Remember they're like put him out on the patio.
Yeah, they're like fuck that guy.
It was all cold.
Yeah.
They just put him out at the patio at the house, and he was just probably out there jerking off.
Yeah, being all fucking creepy.
Just loving it.
But, dude, it was so weird to just go from this wholesome family setting right into this dominatrix old French hookers.
I didn't really know what we were shooting because what we were doing was illegal.
Yeah, so that was the funniest part, is that we're wandering into that. And then, like, you just don't even know that you're getting into that. And
I brought Chris along thinking it was going to be something like, I don't know what I expected, but
hey, you want to come help out with us? It's like, sure, see you, babe.
And it wasn't what
and then
what we had intended.
On things in Hollywood. Yeah,
somebody urinated in public on a landmark.
Yes.
On Hollywood and Highland. I'm not going to say what it was.
Yeah, but it was just old French hooker vaginas hanging out in public, just indecent exposure.
It was nasty.
I was like, oh my God, what are we in the middle of? And we were cracking up to ourselves, thinking like, dude, if our wives knew what the hell we're doing right now.
Dude, I wish I would have known what we were walking into. First off, sorry. I wish I would have known what we were walking into. Originally, because it was just like, I didn't know. I just didn't know.
So that's the kind of stuff we get ourselves into by being.
We always find ourselves in weird.
Yeah, in the creative arts field, you just end up like, now
I've
we're
been in
filming
some strange situations with
hookers and this and that. Okay.
One day it's Bigfoot. One day it's girls fist fighting. Sometimes it's people pissing.
Yeah.
On Hollywood Boulevard.
You're playing water sports with a bunch of old French hookers.
Oh. The acidity of that urine, probably.
So sick, but so man, I think we've covered a bunch. We're chatting about the world in which we work, and then also the photography stuff. So if you want to check out Zach's photography, which I highly recommend because it's incredible stuff, check it out. It's ups_syndrome on Instagram, and then you have an Etsy shop that has
my books.
Your books, and leaf through those things. I'll tell you what, you won't be disappointed.
Thank you,
dude. But thanks for coming on the Bathroom Break podcast. Thanks for filming our fitness Phil skit this morning, and we'll have to go over to Wonk and challenge them to a ping pong.
You need to formally challenge Kyle Newacek.
Oh yeah. I think we're doing it right now on the Bathroom Break podcast.
Yeah.
We're challenging you to a duel.
Do it, Kyle. Do it.
You won't do it, Kyle.
You
You're
beat
scared.
TK, but can you beat Rab?
I was warming you up, and I was taking it easy.
Oh, yeah.
I was totally taking it easy. I see what you got. I know what you got, and I'm coming for you.
Oh, man.
Consider this your challenge, Kyle Newacek.
Yeah.
You're going down.
I love it. You should do it.
All right. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Bye.
Later.
I know things you never see. You never see someone taking a shit while running at full speed.
Come on, kid, get rid of some of them turds in the shit box.
Welcome to the Bathroom Break Podcast with me, Rab himself. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Rab from the Bathroom Break Podcast. Just wanted to take a minute to thank you all for listening to the podcast. It's been a lot of fun to sit down with some really interesting people and shoot the shit, talk all that poop and stuff. But, yeah, we want to try and make this thing better for you, so we're going to need to raise some funds. If you head over to greengate.bigcartel.com, there's a donation link there. If you feel so inclined to donate to the Bathroom Break Podcast, awesome. If not, sit back and listen. We're going to talk some crap. Hello and welcome to the Bathroom Break Podcast with me, your host, Rab himself. We have another great episode for you today. My guest today is Gabe Staino. He's a good friend of mine. He is a filmmaker, a historian, and just an all-around pervert. No, but in all seriousness, Gabe has done a lot of filmmaking with me, and we did Hot Dog Casserole, Borrowed Happiness together. And he's also done a lot of filmmaking as a child. He was an aspiring Martin Scorsese because him and his sister and brother made some I guess, a ode to Scarface type films when they were little kids. So welcome, Gabe.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm quite a historian. If there's actually historians listening, they'll probably get pissed off because I think you have to actually have written a history book.
Yeah.
To be a historian.
Well, hey, you've written one in my mind.
All right. You know what? Hey, I'm going with it. Yeah. Hey, I'm a historian. Back off, Bert.
Yes, I think we've definitely written a lot of history together. We met each other at Shippensburg in college, and I'll say it was kind of tough to remember how we actually met because we were some of those partying types in college. And I can remember one time when I was drinking too much, and I was standing on a porch, and I fell back and smacked my head on the ground, and your buddy Kircharts was like, dude, I was yelling at him, calling him an idiot or something. You remember the story because you were there, and I can't remember because I was blacked out.
Yeah, Kirchart was, he was just like, oh, man, I think outside having cigarettes or something, Kirchart's like, man, I think I'm getting sick. I'm going to throw up. Rab just comes storming out. No, what? Pussy. Nobody does that. Who does that? That's weak. Then right a second later, he just loses his balance, falls back, doesn't break his fall at all. All of his body weight goes right on the back of his head. And, it was just so perfect that, you really felt bad because he might, his brain might be bleeding. But it was just too funny, not to at least, snicker a little,
Yeah. Oh.
And he's just like,
I'm all down there wincing,
so much that, I don't even think he remembered what he was just doing and the poetic justice of it all. But yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
And then I feel like that obviously that explains a lot in our college years was drinking to a point of blackout drunk and just doing stupid things. But yeah, we got plenty of those stories from college.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone's got those stories from college, but I kind of feel like ours was worse than everyone else's.
Yeah,
it was just an extreme group of people.
Yeah, and you couple it with that being the time of Jackass, Viva La Bam, and all the CKY stuff, touring with the band and doing those things, and that kind of, like living the life of a rock star mixed in with college. So it was just like fire on fire.
Just like this small town in the middle of Pennsylvania, and all of a sudden, you're a celebrity. Everybody knows it, and then everyone is egging you on and to do things or whatever, do a move, whatever the hell that means. And and you feel like you have to kind of live up to that a little bit because you're 19, 20 years old, and just this constant pressure. And then because we're your crew, we're your boys, we got to kind of do that too. And
No, it just each person just is one-upping one another at school and doing stupid things, jumping off roofs, like crashing cars, spray painting everything, and and just kind of acting a fool constantly. And I love that do a move because I used to hear that so much, like, dude, do a move. I'm like, a move? What the hell does that mean? Like, it's like a jackass thing. And I'm like, it's like a video game or something. Like there's some sort of spray fire out of your ass. That's a move. And then like run naked through the snow. That's a move. You know, like
that's a move.
Yeah.
And, oh man, that just made me think of Sleepy's going away party. Our buddy Rashid Green, who moved down to Atlanta, he went to college with us at Shippensburg from North Philadelphia, and he had a going away party before him and our other buddy Dion moved down to Atlanta, and we showed up at his going away party in North Philadelphia, and we knocked on the door, and they were just like, "What the fuck are you guys doing here?"
Yeah.
And we're like,
what up,
I don't know.
Sleep?
We got an invitation, and they were like, "That's why I fuck with you."
Yeah.
But then
because it was because you forgot to mention the main ingredient in North Philadelphia. Two white, blue-eyed kids wandering into like a rough neighborhood. It's probably not the smartest thing.
You just
but we showed up and immediately like Sleep was like, dude, that's why I fuck with y'all. And then we came in, we're hanging out at the party and having a good time with the family and the friends and everybody. And as the party goes on, Sleep goes, yo, come here, yo. Oh, we're gonna head down to this bar, and we're like, oh, cool. And they're like, I just got to level.
Yeah, we're
with
gonna
y'all.
come too.
Yeah, I got to level with y'all. You can't come. And we're like, well, what do you mean? He's like, hey man, you know, I love white people. He's like, but if I bring two white people in that bar, like that ain't gonna be good for any of us. You know? And I was like, okay, I hear you loud and clear.
We're gonna go home.
Yeah. So we took off. But yes.
But the word got around that you were in Jackass, and it's like his friends are coming up like, all right, damn, you were Jackass. All right, go run into the wall. Yeah. Run your head, break your head into that wall. It's just like,
yeah, I'm good.
I was trying to say goodbye to my friend.
Just trying to hang out with Sleepy, but all right. But yeah, no, it is funny how that got around, you know, especially in college and you know, and then the following years too, because we lived together down here in New Jersey at the beach, and we'd go to Atlantic City and it was just kind of a life filled with debauchery for a bunch of years, and yeah, so after that, you know, well, not after that. I think during that we started to realize, you know, hey, you know, we both like to film stuff, and so we'd get our buddy Marcus Morelli from Ski 19 Films involved, and Marcus is another buddy of ours from college that we would film with at school, and we'd film a bunch of stupid little skits, like, you know, me robbing a house, or like, okay, you know, Gabe and I are gonna play, you know, some Mexican guys that are trying to sell a cigar or whatever, and it was like these stupid little skits that we thought were funny, and I mean, I still think they're funny. Yeah, exactly.
It was fun, yeah.
But we all got together and worked on a project called Hot Dog Casserole, and that was something that I named Hot Dog Casserole. I named the short film that, and then the skits ended up being called the Hot Dog Diaries. But I named it Hot Dog Casserole because my mom, growing up, would make this disgusting hot dog casserole thing that was like mayonnaise and noodles and hot dogs, and I just always thought it was so gross. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that somehow. People go, well, why is it named that? I don't know.
It actually sounds kind of like, I've actually always hoped your mom would like have that made when I came over afterwards, but
yeah, well, the funny part is my sister liked it.
Yeah, I would. I think I'd like it.
Yeah, and
I'm big on swine.
It was, yeah, exactly. For me, I just lips and assholes wasn't into it. But yeah, so we did the hot dog casserole, which was a lot of fun. We did a lot of skits, and then we did like a 25 minute short film. Gabe played the character of like kind of the high school kid who skips school and drops acid, and it was pretty funny to watch you like improv that and just have fun with that role, because you played alongside with my sister, and she was a like a goth chick kind of deal, and you guys you're skipping school, and she comes to realize, oh, you dropped acid, and you're in this weird little moment of tripping, and at the restaurant, I remember you threw out this line of like, I'll have a muffin sandwich, and I was like, I always remember like, what the hell, like, but it was funny to me, and we had a blast making that movie. Your dad was in it. I'm not sure if your brother and sister were in that one. They were in Borrowed Happiness as well.
Yeah, no, I don't think they were in that one.
But yeah, like it's always a family affair with the Stainos. We get everybody involved. We get, his dad. So to backtrack a little bit, his dad owned a car dealership, and tell us like a little bit about that and the commercials that you would do.
Oh yeah, he had a car dealership down here in South Jersey, and then later on in Pennsylvania, like Westchester area, where we went to high school. But yeah, he's kind of like still to this day, like he moved away, stopped doing these commercials down here like 20, 30 years ago, and still people know him. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like he's just a big personality.
Yeah.
Just like a big lovable guy, and like they were pretty good. His commercials, and he's just.
Yeah, they're memorable for sure. Like like does ones like The Godfather.
Yeah, they're pretty silly, like local car commercials. But yeah, The Godfather. It was the Car Father.
Oh yeah, Car Father.
I was in the Car Father Part 2, my brother and I, and we were his sons. Like he's like, oh, I don't know, you can't be in this business, my business. I mean, what makes you think that you could do what I do? And we're just like, I don't know, Pop. And like,
yeah.
That was like our little claim to fame. We had a little like pencil thin mustache on.
Yeah. That commercial is hilarious.
Like everyone knows my dad down here basically, and my sister. She was in most of them. She was like the star. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. What about the Car Father Part 2? That was me. I know you've seen that one. Come on, I was there too.
Like, nope, never saw that one.
Without
we saw
that
all the
one,
ones with Marissa in it, but yeah.
Well, like getting it renewed. Like they weren't going to make any more commercials unless that one succeeded.
Yeah.
And I came through.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank God. But it's funny to see that it was a family affair with all the TV commercials, and then as we went on to make these little short films, they came along for the ride and all did a part in it, and it's just funny. And it's easy. Like his dad in Borrowed Happiness is the bar owner that's selling the painting to Brandon in that part. We just put it up on YouTube so you can see that Borrowed Happiness, the full version of it. And I'm digging through some archives to try to find the full version of the Hot Dog Casserole movie and put that up as well. But yeah, his dad was another funny part in Hot Dog Casserole.
DVD, actually.
Yeah, and he was another funny part in that, and he was like the dad that's like smoking pot and trying to get like the UPS driver.
Him and Brandon are always working together too. They had a good chemistry going, the two of them.
Yeah,
sure.
It's hilarious. So yeah, and then also your brother is in Borrowed Happiness. He's the guy that fires the one bar regular.
Yeah.
And then your sister's in there as well. She comes in for her date,
with her husband, my brother-in-law, that's the Scottish guy at the bar.
Yeah, and he's in there, and that's where Brandon's like, Scotch, I love Scotch. I'm going there right now. Like that, those ridiculous lines. But it's been a lot of fun. So Hot Dog Casserole, we kind of all, we would have so much fun. We would just put on wigs and create these little characters, and then those skits would become something. We were all sitting around at your folks' house back then, and just we had like a box of props, and it was like throw this on, and then that would develop a skit idea, and then the idea would come, and then we'd go do stuff, and the one that we did with dildos and butt cheeks was a little bit like over the line. So I remember it was like he has a professional career. He's a historian, as I had mentioned, and so it was kind of like maybe we that's a little bit too much. So we kind of dialed that back, and as we moved forward into what we were doing with Borrowed Happiness, Gabe and I actually we wrote that one together. and just and we kind of I think evolved a little bit. It was a lot of fun with Hot Dog Casserole, but we were young, and it was like this is what's funny to us then. And I think as we started to get a little older and do that stuff, our interests changed, and then we were interested in trying something that was a little bit more serious, and that's what that movie ended up being. And it was a lot of fun to write, and we were laughing, we were cracking up because we based a lot of the characters on some of the guys that were at a bar that we worked at together.
Because we both did that for a lot of years of our life.
Yeah.
Just working in the restaurant business, bartending and whatnot, and for a while being able to do that together, which was actually a lot of fun, as miserable as some of it was.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the restaurant business. Miserable some days, really funny and fun some other days. But yeah, there was some colorful characters at that bar, and that kind of led us both to feel like, dude, what are these people doing outside of this bar? What is their life like other than this like kind of miserable existence? Being a local at a bar, I think people like to feel like people know you, but at the same time it can be depressing if you look at it like every single day. I mean, there'd be a point where like if one of the guys didn't show up by 4:30, you're like, what's going on?
Is he dead?
Yeah, like what's happening with him? And so that led to like that,
unless you listening are a bar regular, not you. Yeah, we're talking about
not you, the other you. But it was just funny to like sit and write that and go, we're not even making this up, and it's just cracking us up, Like, I mean, obviously Brandon's character is one.
Yeah.
Like, there was a guy that had artwork at the bar, and it was like, we were like, what the heck is it? It was just like this sea turtle thing with like a hot babe with like a shoe and whatever. And then our artist did the hare instead of the tortoise, and then did like a clown instead of the hot babe, and it was just perfectly done. But she did that for us for the movie, but Brandon played the artist in that movie, and I think he did an amazing job, and everybody in it, like that guy Brent that played Brent,
and he played himself.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure to this day if he knows that he's playing himself.
I mean, it was very similar sport jacket kind of guy that's just schmoozing and talking about babes and
like in real life he announces polo matches, and he was a polo player.
Yeah.
And that is, his name.
So everybody in it, I think, did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great learning experience, and you can check it out on YouTube. We have it up on Rap Himself videos, and but we also have a bunch of the old skits like Holocrombie and Karate Scotty and Detective Skidmark. That was
on Hot Dog Castle.
Yeah,
which is weird. Like I would think that, like I teach high school history, and like to this day, like I would think because it's more recent and we kind of pushed it a little bit more at the time when Borrowed Happiness came out, that if my students saw anything, that would be it. But I'm on like hall duty now, and then kids that I don't even know who they are, I don't teach them. Be like, all right, they're walking by, like, oh, you got your pass? Yeah, I gotta check that. Like, yeah, right here. Oh, by the way, Mr. Staino, loved you in Hot Dog Casserole. I'm like, oh, what? No, not
Rumpf. Rumpf. I didn't get a rump out of that guy.
Get to class.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of it at all, except for just knowing that my students that I'm shaping their minds and whatnot, and their parents might find out about this, that there's dildos and ass cheeks and whatnot involved.
Hey, we live in a dildo and ass cheek kind of world, right?
You know what? You're right.
You can't.
Lesson objective for tomorrow.
Yeah. Exactly. If history repeats itself, there will be plenty more dildos and assholes.
Yeah, there's been them since the Romans at least. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
They were glass back then. They weren't so bendish.
So I mean, it's been so much fun, obviously, making these projects together. But you bring up the good point of like your history lesson for tomorrow. Like, I wanted to hear more about your life as a history teacher and how it kind of transitioned into that. I think you're a political science major in college, and then and then a dildo and farts major in your mid-20s, and then went into history and to become a history teacher.
Yeah, there's a natural progression there.
Yeah. So I wanted to hear a bit about that because you went and taught overseas for a while as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, like going back to middle school and high school, it was the only class that I liked was history class.
It's funny because that was the one that I hated because I felt like history teachers were so boring.
Yeah, and that's
monotone,
the thing.
like boring thing. Yeah.
And that just talking to people throughout my life, like because I meet so many people that are like, oh, I hated history. But I think it all depends on like if you had that one teacher.
Yeah.
That I mean, and that's the thing about teaching now too. It's you're supposed to do all these things where the kids are active the whole time and switch everything up, and that's like all the. But really, I mean, history is just if. Sometimes they just need to put their pens down and not have to work the whole time, not have to worry about dates and names and stuff, and just listen to stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm a pretty good storyteller. I do love history, and I try to tell the story in a way that, like that's appealing to young people. Like you kind of got to make it gnarly, and there's like gnarly, crazy things about every period in history in every place in the world. So I think it works, even though like academia or whatever, all the new style of teaching and everything like that, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to switch everything up, have the kids working together constantly, and we're not supposed to lecture and just talk for a period of time. Sometimes, like if that's what you're good at, that's what you should be doing.
Right.
If you can engage them and you can keep their attention, which for the most part, I mean, I think I can.
Yeah, and you think about like most teachers when you're growing up, like if it is this cookie cutter style of like, here's how the curriculum should be, this is what it should be, it's like that's boring, and that's why it's boring. But if you go into that teacher's classroom that is exciting and changing things up and shifting it and doing it in his style, her style, or whatever, those are the people that you remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about myself going through school. There's not many teachers that I remember that I think were great. There's a few. And I had a lot of teachers over the years. So what I know about you, and like I said, I didn't really like history. But what I learn from you all the time, because you tell a story in a way that captivates me, and I'm like, oh, cool. I actually want to learn about that part of history because you're telling it in a way that I can relate to, or that's fun, or it's relatable, as opposed to like, and the War of 1912 or whatever the hell, this like or 1812 or whatever the hell it was.
Remember that. That's going to be on the test.
Yeah, and it's like blah, blah, blah.
It's got to mean
blah,
something.
blah.
It's got to be like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
And like, how did this affect like someone just like you?
Yeah.
I mean, people were alive 150 years ago. They were just like us. Like,
yeah.
They just had to deal with different kinds of shit.
Exactly. And I think I witnessed you doing it with like, you'll bring in like music and you'll play music to certain things and like, and you just engage the students in a way that I did not experience that in history class growing up. And it's really fun because it's like, make it fun a little bit. What are the things you remember most in life? Are the great experiences or the fun things that that you've gone through? It's like you can remember that. You don't remember like all the dates and specific. Hey, let's I told you to memorize page 11 through 14. It's like, well, I don't know what that was.
Exactly, and it shouldn't be stressful. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm a pretty like I've never failed anybody. I don't think I've ever given a D, but maybe some of the students have deserved it. But like, even the kids that like don't do the work and maybe they should technically get a D or F. Like I know they learned something. Yeah. So why would I just Yeah. I don't want to like if they're worried about a grade, they're not going to just get anything out of it. If they're just stressed all the time, there's enough. Teenagers are stressed about everything. Yeah. They put so much pressure on themselves. Everyone around them puts so much pressure on them. Meanwhile, they got all kinds of crazy hormones going on. They're going through so many changes, and like a zit on a kid's nose can just like cause a meltdown. Yeah. Like, oh, that's what everyone's looking at. no one cares about anything except that zit on my nose. Like that's what they're like.
Yeah.
That's like what. It's hard as hell to be a teenager.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't want to be the one to add more to that. Like who knows what they're getting, and you never know what these kids, what's anybody in life, but kids especially. Like you never know what kind of shit they're dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And you always got to keep that in mind. I think like. I hopefully I can help kids, but I sure as hell don't want to be damaging to them.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, exactly, and I mean, it sounds like that. You are kind of the fun teacher, because I actually came in and played teacher for a day with you the one time, and I could feel that from your students, that they're just like, Mr. Staino, and they just love to kind of be in your class, and you could feel that. I came in to talk about Haiti with the stuff that we do with Hope for Today, our nonprofit, and what was really cool is like, I'm like, I've learned a little bit about some of that down there, but you did a history lesson about it, and I learned more from listening to you about that than I knew about certain things. And then also you had students from Haiti.
Yeah.
And
I got there like for the earthquake.
Yeah.
And that had left afterwards.
Yeah, and I got to kind of learn from them, and it was just so funny, because I'm like, I'll go in and talk a little bit about all this, and I came out like, man, I learned more than I could have ever even shared with any of it.
Man, I'm so thankful you did come for that, though. Like, you just have a way of engaging with, kids or whoever. Like, you know how to get their attention right away. First of all, you were like, yeah, like, well, the only, some people know me because, like, I got, like, I shit myself a lot. And, like, the kids were like even kids that might have been like, just the guest speaker. All of a sudden they were like, huh? And then, like, you knew how to get their attention immediately. But then you captivated them. You took them through this, and, like, you brought an emotional response out of them. It was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
The kids got so much out of that. They were talking to me for days, weeks after that
about
awesome. It. And
well, I appreciate you bringing me in, because it was a lot of fun, and like I said, I felt like I learned a lot from coming in that day, and that's good to hear, because I never even heard how that how it went. So it's good to hear that. That there was some sort of.
Told you.
Yeah. Now I just feel incredible about myself.
Yeah, well, everything was going too well for you. I didn't want to. I wanted to keep you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Level,
Exactly.
The middle path.
So how about like the time you spent as a teacher overseas? Like, you were in England, and then you traveled around, obviously, during that to a bunch of different European countries. Like, how different is that, being involved in the school system over there than here?
Honestly, it's not a whole lot different. Where I was at, and if there's anyone listening in the UK, you're the only ones that are going to know where Dagenham is, which is East London, which I don't care how many times, if you're not from the UK or you don't have a close family member from the UK, you don't know where Dagenham is, even though it's in Greater London. It's East London. It's not somewhere you're going to visit. It's not on like the walking tour of Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
It's a really tough area, the poorest borough in the UK, and a lot of problems in that area. But
Fuck you, miss.
Yeah. It's got he's my mate. He's all right, Yank. What you doing here? You're from America. You're a millionaire. What the fuck you doing here?
You're a millionaire.
Like, everyone from America is a millionaire.
Yeah.
All I want to know from you is, what's Jay-Z's house like? You fucking been there? He's my mate. Like, yes, I've been there, and it's nice.
It's very nice,
as you'd imagine, because it's very nice. But like those kids, it was an experience over there where you don't get otherwise, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Not every day. Some days I was contemplating suicide for sure. But overall, like, I have such fond memories of it. Like, some of the kids I still keep in contact with, the teachers as well. Like, I worked with fantastic people over there, and I was able to travel a lot, and I love that city still. Like, my wife and I get back there as much as possible. I just went for the Eagles game actually a few weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
My wife got me a ticket, which was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like a birthday present.
Yeah.
And they won, which might be the last time the Eagles will have won.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, they just got annihilated by the Saints. But it's fantastic. I got to go to a lot of cool places in Europe. obviously. I started going to Eastern Europe because it was way cheaper, and then I just kept going back, like Lithuania, Estonia, places like that are fantastic.
Yeah, I've been to Estonia. Yeah,
yeah. You've been to a lot more places than I have. Though, like,
I don't know. I mean, you've
been
traveled a lot.
fortunate to travel, but not nearly.
Yeah, but that's awesome.
As you.
So that's such a cool thing, and so obviously you're married now. You have a little baby girl, super cute, and you're living that family life, and life is good. And so what do you have in the works at this point? Like, are you working on anything? Are you writing things? I mean, I know you're always continuing to educate yourself in history and growing in that way, and what's happening now. I know you do some fun stuff with Name That Tune and like
I mean,
your music sometimes. Your like music knowledge, musical history knowledge is pretty incredible too.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm into history, so like anything I read or I hear that I love, I need to know where that came from.
Yeah,
what inspired that. So I keep kind of just going back, whether it's music or literature or whatever.
Yeah.
I realize, like, even no matter how old it is, it's still relatable because humans are humans and we've been humans for a long time.
Before that, we were fisher monkeys. I don't know.
We will look into it. But yeah, I mean, like I do write. There's some things that like I mean I've had this project for a while that it's been years, but I'll pick it up every once in a while, and it's like a historical thing. It involves slavery and revolutions in the mid 19th century in Europe and what was happening over here right before the like the abolitionist era and leading up to the Civil War, and kind of tying those together. And I just actually the other day like started to get back into that, and
that's awesome. And that's cool like idea, a book, or is that
probably. I'm just more and more compiling like information and like putting that down and just like, I just have to apply it and like I know what story I want to tell. I don't know if I want to make a treatment out of it, or if I just want to kind of do a novel.
Yeah, but, and it started to make me think of like Quentin Tarantino's like Inglourious Basterds. It's like his version of what history is, and that almost might be fun too.
It is. Like, it's like an alternate history of what might have happened instead of the Civil War. Yeah, but involving things that were going on, like revolutions of 1848 in Europe and like all over Europe, and then how the Southern states could have possibly avoided a war to that would have been totally destructive, and probably they would have lost to end slavery, and then otherwise kind of phasing it out, but with the introduction of slaves coming from the other side of the ocean that would have voluntarily done that instead of starving to death.
Yeah.
At least they would have survived.
Yeah.
So basically, I gotta get to it.
Yeah.
But
well, this is motivation to do it, right?
Yeah. Fuck it. Now I said
now
it.
we'll hold you to it.
Now I said it. I got it. Yeah. I gotta do it. Yeah.
Said it. Don't forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. And let's see. What teach us a little history lesson here. What are you in the middle of right now, and something that we could maybe stand to hear.
You can't stand to hear anything to say about that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, like
just I would look into the Mongols. They're badass.
Mongols are badass.
Yeah, like got some unbelievable stories about them.
Yeah, but, like what piques your interest right now? Is that what you're like? What are you reading?
I'm actually reading about the Haitian Revolution right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Which I knew a little bit about, but I'm really like diving a lot deeper into it, which it's a fascinating thing that ties into the American Revolution, the French Revolution that was going on at the same time, and they were colonized by the French. But that's something that if you want to understand something that's happening right now, in Haiti, it has roots.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things that are going on in the United States right now. People act like, the Civil War happened there are people alive today whose grandparents were slaves. It's
Yeah.
not that long ago.
Right.
Like, and things reverberate, and just slavery's over. Just get over it. Everything should be
right.
It's just like
it's not the case.
I
And
don't
history
know.
does
I
repeat
wish
itself.
and maybe it repeats itself. Maybe historical trends repeat themselves, or it just when you have something that's as traumatic and catastrophic that lasted a long time, like that doesn't just iron itself out immediately.
Right.
And the more people that led, not only in our country but around the world, if they understood history, or learned it, then maybe our policymakers could, I don't know, do better.
Just do better. All right,
just do better. Get a tutor or something. Or read.
A little
or
crash
something.
course. Get the Cliff Notes on on history.
It's just a crazy time. It's and I'm not like one party or the other. Like I'll vote for any party, like a candidate, if I believe in them.
Yeah.
It's just it's such a crazy time because literally, like, you're in a different world if you watch one channel or the other.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't hear a goddamn word that the other side's saying, and every word the other side is saying just boils your blood. Like,
yeah.
You like.
Yeah, it is very much
insane.
that way.
It's two
very
different worlds.
polarized. Yeah.
Like there's no crossover. It's like you can't listen to a word the other side says without becoming angry and just immediately defensive and then going on the offensive. It's like,
are you saying there's a civil war coming? Because it is so. I know, but it is so polarizing that it's difficult, and that's dangerous to not be able to have that discussion. Because at this point, obviously nobody really wants to hear that discussion. I'm over it. I'm bored with it. I don't want to constantly see that stuff.
And the people that want to hear it, that want to have the discussion, there's no way they could let another idea come in because they're just watching one channel or the other, and they're very obviously politically divided, and they're only hearing something. And the Google or the Facebook or whatever knows that. They know what you want to see, what you're going to click on. So I was reading something where if you do a Google search and you've had a voter record like this and you've read certain articles, like you could have a bunch of people type in the same word, like elephant or something like that. But if the internet, whoever that is, knows that you lean a certain way, you'll have a totally different set of results come up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it, if you just open up your Facebook and they're like, hey, I thought you were thinking about orange juice. Buy some here. You're like, wait, what?
They won't let you even be exposed to another idea.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I don't even blame people because God knows us humans are stupid. But
they are.
It's,
but
I don't know how it gets better.
But I'm interested to see the writings that you have with some of the historical things you were talking about too, and then also interested to see what kind of skits and things like that you've been writing and things you're thinking of to film, because we do need to get back to filming some little skits and some short little films and stuff, because we've done that over the years. I of course live on the West Coast now, but when I'm back, we'll try to get together and film some little things, and it'll be fun to do, and just to kind of take it back to the connection we have there with filmmaking, is that there are so many of those funny skits from Hot Dog, some of that and the stuff from Borrowed Happiness. I think the behind the scenes was like funnier than the movie. The movie had some little funny parts and the serious thing, but the behind the scenes was fun to do too. And so you can check that out on YouTube too.
Group of people just to meet and work with for a while.
Yeah, and I mean,
such
dude,
fun memories
we literally got Rake out of the the hospital. His wife had just given birth to his son, and we're like, hey, can you just come on over and get tased real quick? And we kept doing it, and it was like tearing apart his legs on the carpet and all this stuff. And there's some really funny
Such a good sport about it.
Yeah.
I wonder how that worked out for him when he got back to the hospital.
Yeah. He's got these brush burned knees and whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of fun with that stuff, and looking forward to doing some more little skits and just kind of letting our hair down and having some fun with that. And yeah, man, it's been awesome chatting and getting to know like the full scope of Gabe's world. And that's he writes, he makes movies, little short films and skits and all that kind of stuff. But he's also a big history buff, and then has
big
traveled.
History and buff.
Very buff.
Yeah.
And
definitely one of your less interesting guests for sure.
Yeah.
But,
no, very interesting. Because I like to kind of see the full scope of people, and it's like you're into history, but you're also into filmmaking, but you're also very knowledgeable in music and all this, and it's fun to kind of see what makes people tick, like Lisa from Borrowed Happiness. He's like, what makes Lisa tick? But dude, thanks for coming on Borrowed Happiness, the Bathroom Break podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
And we'll get down to shooting some more short films.